Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Get Lifted. 30 is the new 20. Hit the like button, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you're notified the next time we post or go live. I'm La Hefa.
Chris So D. Smiley Jizzle. Happy Memorial Day.
Well, happy. I don't know. Is it happy? I remember I said that to someone before, and they said there's nothing. They were in the military, and they said there's nothing happy about. Which I get why they said that, because Memorial Day is to remember the people that passed. So I could see why they'll say it's not happy. Like, you don't say happy because it's not like Christmas or, you know. I get it, but. So to all the people
get the day off from work. So
to all the people that some people, but everybody don't be off on today.
yeah, everybody, but it's a federal, so.
But to all the people, all the soldiers that we lost on this day, rest in peace.
It's a really good country song for them. It's a really good country song for them. They be always making a good country song. I forgot.
It's called The Simple Things.
It's the simple things in life.
Yo.
You know what I'm talking about.
But don't hear what they say.
Oh man.
Why do you
Nickelodeon references early.
so easy, so complicated, searching for the
Simple things. I'll take the simple things. I'll take June and spring. I love the simple things.
I don't know that song.
That's from Hey Arnold.
Oh, with the guy from
The Chinese guy.
Yeah, Mr.
I'll take
Mr.
the
Win,
simple things.
right? That's
Yep.
Mr. Win.
May, June, and spring.
He sounded good. Why they be making these cartoon characters singers for real? Like
Because
Dino Spumoni. Who is that? Is that
that's Frank Sinatra,
No.
kid.
that? I mean, it's supposed to be him.
I
That
think
ain't
it really
who-
was Frank Sinatra. No,
No,
Frank
'cause we
Sinatra
looked it
Jr.
up.
is on Family Guy.
We looked it up. It was some
He's
guy we
on
never
Family.
heard of. Remember? I don't remember the name, but we don't.
On Family Guy?
No, on.
Nah, because Family Guy is Frank Sinatra Jr.
No, I'm saying we looked up who it was, who Dino Spumoni was on Hey Arnold. And we
Oh
don't
yeah,
know
fake
who.
ass Frank Sinatra.
I don't know Simple Thing, but I like Picture by Sheryl Crow. I mean, that's not is a song, a love song, I guess. It's Kid Rock and Sheryl Crow. I like that.
Oh yeah, Kid Rock got some good country songs. For the
I
soldiers.
put your picture away.
They be singing that for the soldiers too.
I just
That's a good
called
soldier
to
song.
say that is a good song. I just called to say I love you.
Come back home.
Yeah.
That's a good one for the people away.
Yeah.
They used to always be making us feel bad. Like we got a mission. We about to seek and destroy somebody, and we got this soft ass music before we go out. Like yo, come on, bro.
I thought about
You Rambo.
you for a long time. Can't seem to get you.
Yo, we
we
had soldiers that
He said I was gonna drink you away.
puke on the fucking plane ride because it's a 14-hour flight.
They puked. Where did they puke?
Yeah, he was a tough guy too. I hope he see this shit.
Where did
He
he?
was a tough guy.
Where did he puke at? He ran to the bathroom.
Nah,
or on somebody?
he had a bag. First he had puked.
Oh,
in
he
his,
knew that.
First he puked in his lap.
So then
He was going back and forth to the bathroom. We could hear him wretched in the bathroom.
He was motion sickness.
I'm like, bro, you talk all that shit and can't even fly on a fucking plane. Corny nigga. He was black too. Shout out to the brothers in arms. I mean, yo, you know what? A lot of people disagree with the war and military because they feel like that's why do people gotta go out and kill people. Well, our country is telling us to do it, but here's another thing. In order to live a comfortable life, kinda, you're gonna have to fight for some things. And like every nation has fighters that fight to keep their rights. You know, you're fighting for other people's freedoms. So like if you're doing that, you have to be selfless. You can't be like afraid that you're gonna get shot. You can't be afraid that you might get killed tonight. Or deleted, I'm sorry. You can't be afraid that you might not come back. Or you might get captured. Like my sister and I was talking about the other day about if you got captured hypothetically, what would you do? And I said, would you take yourself out? She was like, no, I'll just take the torture, whatever they give me.
What?
And if
said,
if I die from that, because I don't want to kill myself, unalive myself.
She said, I'll just die for that. So I said, so you're gonna give them the information that they want? She's like, no,
I'm not gonna let them.
Right? You hear her right now. Let me finish, because I'm telling them the story. so she's
I'm
like,
making the rules.
right. So she's like, oh, shout out to the people commenting. So she's like, yeah, I would have done this and such if I was in the situation or whatever. And I'm like, yo, come on now. Either you're gonna give them the information or you're gonna die. Like, give them you could take a liquid cyanide pill and just save yourself whatever, but you gonna risk giving them information because you don't understand how much torture can be. And once they pull 3 fingernails, it's over. Because there's so much more they could do. So once they pull 3 fingernails and you start giving up all the government secrets, it's already too late after 3 fingernails. But if you think you tough, you know, you can hang in there, but most POWs don't
I mean, at that point,
most people
it's
fold
already
because
over.
You're human. So they're gonna fold. It's just a matter of how much time it's gonna take. And if we talk about hours of torture, you might not survive hours of torture. But it's some people that maybe they hung around for days because they, you know, a couple days. But weeks is you getting a star. You're gonna come back with an Army Medal of Honor or something like that. But it's not common. I'm just saying for men. So if you think like, oh, I'll be able to do it if I was in that position because I got all the training and I'm prepared just like everybody else and I know how my will is. But it's different when they use something that can get you. They'll use some type of leverage. Oh, if you don't give us this information now, we got sleeper cells in America. We know your name, Erica.
We talk about if you work for the government, Joshua, and if you get captured by the other side, opposing country or something.
Right.
Will you unalive yourself? Because that's the rules from some movies. What is that? Mission Impossible said they gotta do that.
No, just all right. So generally, if you get captured, let's not make movie references. Let's make it real for what it is. You get captured. You work for the government. Are you giving up all the information? Or you're gonna go through the torture. Or you're just gonna take yourself out. What's your realistic answer for yourself? If you're still hanging around here to answer that. But I mean, like the reality is that most people will fold because human nature is gonna say you either built for this or you.
No, only you do that, Joshua.
What's that?
What he wrote.
I will not listen to a man with a purple sky.
No, the last comment.
Yo, what are y'all smoking over there?
I wasn't saying to read it. That's why I didn't say it.
Yo, why he call you silly? What's going on? Can we talk about real life?
Why are you not paying attention? What are you doing over there?
So, why are you here if you're too intelligent? Then apparently you're not, because you're still here if you feel that way.
Troll's gonna troll.
Troll's gonna troll.
So, we did an impromptu live today because there's a couple of things that we wanted to discuss that are that we recently discovered. So I have a clip. Charlemagne made this funeral home donkey of the day because these people these people's uncle funeral came up, and when they went to the casket, they said it wasn't them. Check it out.
On the Breakfast Club.
Your word of Charlemagne the guy. He's a donkey, man.
Happy born day, Buster Bus. Donkey today for Tuesday, May 20th goes to the Harrison Ross Mortuary in California. Now, first of all, I want to send condolences to Amitha Hunt and the family of 80-year-old Otis Atkinson. Okay? No, I'm not a funeral guy. Okay, I'm not going to my own funeral if I can help it, but I understand the process of the service. It is very important to lay your people to rest with class and dignity. But in order to do that, you need a mortuary that moves with class and dignity. That's the scary thing, right? You know how I talk to you all about school, trusted teachers with our precious.
That shit look like it hurt, nigga. Nah, nigga, I see him raise that cup. I was like, yo, you going too fast. You going too fast.
It's a shot.
Treated correctly. Well, the family of Otis Atkinson,
it's
they
all
were
right.
they were treated with any respect by the Harrison Mortuary. Let's go to CBS 3 for the report, please.
When Amitha Hunt's 80-year-old uncle passed away, she chose Harrison Ross Mortuary to prepare him for burial. But when she went to view his body, she says it wasn't him.
It was a guy laying there in my uncle's suit, but it wasn't my uncle.
What did you think?
I just kept looking at him. I didn't know. I just kept looking at him and kept looking. I'm like, wait a minute, he could have got that dog.
I got a
Hunt says
story
she knew
based on
something
this,
was wrong
because
and
this is
asked
kind
the
of
worker at the
crazy.
mortuary for help.
She was like, no, yes, that's your uncle. I said, that's not my uncle. My uncle got that dart. And I said, here's a picture of him. And I showed her the picture, and she was like, you're right. Give us 1 minute. One minute.
Hunt says
Give
she
us
and
1
the family
minute
waited
is
3 hours
crazy.
until the mortuary fixed the mix-up so they could.
That's crazy. Let me speak on this. First of all,
bury her uncle. She still doesn't know whose body was
First
dressed in
of
his suit,
all,
and has
like,
filed a lawsuit against the mortuary.
we got the gist of
Her
it.
attorney
Let
calls the
me
mortuary.
say something. 'Cause this is crazy.
So to sum it up, these people went to their uncle's funeral and they paid for the funeral, and then they go to the funeral and it's another man in his suit that they
Crazy.
gave him. Not only is it another person, but they used his
They
suit.
knew.
And then they said, no, it is your uncle. When she said, like, they don't know what their
She
uncle looks
questioned
like,
it, yeah.
they said it is. And then she
is.
showed them a picture. So now she's suing them.
So peep game, something similar like this happened to me. I went to a childhood friend's funeral, and when we went there, like everybody that went said the same thing. Like I don't know what the mother or the parents said, but I definitely know like all the people that I went with and seen there was like, yo, it didn't even look like him. And they try to put it on because it was so far from the accident. I guess the preservatives that they put in the body made him look different. But nah, yo, it didn't look like the homie. Like it looked like somebody else. It looked like
Well, depending on how they
prepared him.
How they died.
Yeah, that could be a problem. Could make it hard to make
If
it. And how long
their
they've
face was
been
disfigured and stuff
before
like that,
the funeral,
they have to reconstruct
because
it.
a lot of times
That's a different thing.
Not
That's a
prepared.
different thing. Your scenario is a different thing than what she's talking about, because it's like they're saying is like they don't look like how I remember them.
But that's what I'm saying.
But
how will we know?
No, we know if
No.
they don't look like how you remember
not,
them.
it's different than a
versus
whole nother
you not,
person.
You knowing this is
He
not
looked like a
this
whole
person.
other person.
Probably to you, but
You see what I'm
he
saying?
maybe looked like he had more weight, or he looked like he had less weight, because again.
He ain't even look like.
Because
the same
again,
nigga.
but no, listen to what I'm saying. Again, depending, like she said, depending on how they died, it's a lot of work that goes into that. But
And then if they were sitting
somebody
there long
like
before the funeral,
like for instance, I use myself
Yeah,
as an example.
That was
My aunt didn't look like the way we remember her, so
I
it's
feel
like,
like
yo, they was like,
we
yo,
always
a lot of
say
people
that.
say that. It's once in a while where you be like, oh, okay, they did a good job.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But it's hard. It's hard because the body has been there for a few days or whatever.
Yeah,
the
definitely.
decomposition stages have already started, so
That's
it's hard for you to
crazy.
reconstruct your skin. But hopefully, there's no damage to the face or nose or anything like that. So all you gotta do is just probably just embalm them and do whatever you need to do to preserve them.
But if they got their head blown off or something, then that's
Yeah,
hard
it might be somebody else's head. You never know. But this right here is a person. It was not them.
That's crazy.
And then you put their clothes on them. Now, what to the point of what we're saying? What if it was them, but it just didn't look like them anymore because of why? You know what I mean?
No, but they switched it
But
because
they
she
did.
showed
But
her
they
the
did switch it.
picture,
That's crazy.
and she was like, "You're
That's
right."
diabolical.
When she showed her the picture, what if she ain't had a picture? They would have just kept
They
them
would've-
like
That's
that.
diabolical
Exactly.
work, bro.
Exactly.
Was
That's
that
crazy.
done on purpose?
I don't think so.
And
It
she
could've
lucky-
But it does. But it doesn't
could've
happen
been.
often. But
And she lucky they wasn't ratchet because, like Charlamagne said, there are some times where violence is understood or expected because it's like, I gave you my money to bury
Just
my
loved ones. Yeah.
loved one, and this is what you did. You switched them out
You switched
with
the
somebody.
body.
Like, you can't be careless in a situation like this. Like, and this is a tough time. I'm already stressed out because I'm mourning, and then I gotta deal with this on top of it.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That is super crazy.
But we have a question in the chat. Hi Daniel. Hi everybody watching. Please hit the like button if you're tuned in. Somebody had a question. I think it was Hector. He said, "What y'all think about the economy under Trump?" I think it's in the shitter because, well, there are some things that he has done that may be helpful. But overall, he's making a lot of decisions that's going to affect, well, depending on your tax bracket, like people who are wealthy or rich, they're in a better position. But we always have some option. Like, it's never been in my lifetime where it's like you can't do anything, but you just got to research and find those things. Like, this woman just posted something on Instagram about if you want to start if you're a small business owner, because there are people that are, everybody doesn't own a business, but for those people, there are certain banks that can provide loans to you, and like it's helpful, and you don't, and it doesn't, and they said it doesn't matter what your credit score is. Like, I would do research that, look into that, and see. And it's up to a certain amount that's allowed. Some people probably don't know about that, or that's an option, or you think
yo, shout out to Jessica.
automatically not going to anything that they're automatically not
Listening
going
to us while she hit her vape. Shout out to Jessica. I'm about to
Get
hit my vape. I'm about to
lifted.
hit my vape too.
Yeah, we got some too.
Let me say something about the
Yo, Joshua said some funny shit. I mean,
hold on. Let me say something about the economy real quick.
It's
No,
not
before-
about the
before we
looks,
move on to that, yeah, he's
Joshua,
talking about the
but
body
you want to
stuff.
make sure that it's the right person, don't you? You don't want to be paying for somebody else's
he
farewell
said,
ceremony.
he said, act like it's them so we can move on.
What?
That's hilarious.
That's crazy.
I ain't gonna hold you. If I'm just a friend of the family and I'm coming to pay my respect,
Yeah, I'm never gonna.
I'm just gonna look
question
at,
No,
I'm gonna look
it-
at it and I'm gonna be like,
No, if I know, I'm gonna be like,
I ain't saying shit.
No,
you wildin'.
yeah, I'm
you
not
wildin'
saying
if
shit.
you an outsider of the
Yeah.
family and do that shit.
If I'm an outsider,
you just
of the
asking
family,
for trouble.
I
you
would
know how
say
black
to
people
I
are.
was
my
gonna say
link
shit. I would-
to
I
the
wouldn't say
family. Like, if
nothing.
I'm a friend, whoever I'm friends
Say it
with.
to your friend.
Yeah.
Privately, but
Yeah, I would
don't,
be like,
don't do no wild
no,
shit.
I'm sorry. Like, I would tell them, like, you
That's
know,
not
go
him.
to
Make a
like,
scene.
I'm sorry, I'm
That's
not
What's up,
trying
Mr.
to.
UFO?
Yeah, I don't think that that's your uncle,
Yeah, that's
but
crazy.
that don't look like him. I remember what he looked like, and that really don't. Like, I'm sorry.
That's funny as hell.
And then if they don't do nothing, then that's on them. But I'll at least say something. If I can recognize it, and this ain't even my relative, I'm a friend, and I notice it, I can't just not say nothing. If I really think that this is not that it just, cause like we said, a lot of times they don't be looking like that.
Nah, but
And then sometimes
you
it's
right,
saying,
yo.
oh,
Don't
they
nobody.
look so whatever
funeral is
peaceful,
draining.
and I'll be like, yo, no,
Funeral is
that don't-
draining. Josh
I
got
be
a point,
thinking,
like,
you know,
saying like, yo, just let's get this shit over. Like, it be draining. Like, you be sitting there, it's mad
yeah, I don't
depressing.
even be wanting
I
to
don't
go.
want to be there. Like, you know what I mean? So like,
You
let's
wanna
get it
sit
done.
there and be
Let's
crying
finish
and
this.
doing and watching other people cry if you not, or whatever. It's just somber. And then we act like it didn't happen after. Then we go eat and drink or whatever.
Right.
After you
And
just
yo,
finished
real shit.
falling
What,
in the casket.
yo, what he just said, like on some real, I really did have to take off of work to go to a funeral. Like, where the mother? Like, And you know, shout out to the family though. You know what I mean? Condolences and everything. But it's like, yo, like I couldn't be there for a long time. Like I just have to like go do what I gotta do and go back to work.
Because work is draining. We talk about funerals draining. Work is draining.
Yeah, but you
But
getting
it's
paid.
a different
Yeah,
type. It's like
right. You're not
emotionally.
getting paid. You're not getting paid for.
And
for
it's like
going
a
to
lot.
funeral.
Like if you're an empath,
it's like
then
an
you're
obligation.
absorbing everybody else, even if you are not that close. Which I only be going to. Some people will go to everybody's funeral
I can't
or whatever.
go to everybody's funeral.
I can't go to. They have to be like mother, father, sister, brother, aunt, uncle, immediate, like, maybe some cousins, certain ones, not all of them, because only the ones that I'm really close with like that I would probably shed a tear or something if you don't, cause I cry when people that are close to me like that happens. But if I'm not compelled to cry, like you don't, then I'm sorry. I'll feel bad, but I'm not coming. I'm not. And then they don't even offer that at jobs anyway. It gotta be a close relative, like that has to be your grandmother, your father, mother, your aunt.
I feel you too. Like, and then dude dropped in the comments. He said, I need my bread. Like I'm not getting paid to take off work unless I have PTO.
Right.
Or the mother. Cause if it's not an immediate family member, you gotta use PTO. Now they do give you bereavement,
but that's only for certain family members.
Right, it's gotta be immediate.
It can't be like your fifth cousin down the line through marriage or something. Like I don't know. Yeah. So, or like a friend. If you're a friend, you might be closer to your friend than you are with your family, but you don't get bereavement if your friend passed away.
Right.
So.
Crazy. Fucked up.
These jobs don't be caring. But, I mean, I'm surprised they actually give men get paternity leave now. I think that's great.
Since when?
Well, maybe not all jobs, but certain jobs. I know Amazon does it. Because when I was working at Amazon,
leave.
No. I'm about to say you stupid.
No, but dudes can get it. I mean, they don't get it like I don't think they get it as long unless they're a single father.
I don't know. It probably depends on the job. But when I was working at Amazon, there was a coworker that we became cool, and he was so excited that like he was having, and I was happy that he was excited to have a child, and he was talking about it, and then I think he had a girl. I don't remember. But he was talking about, he was like, yeah, I'm going to be going on paternity leave. I'm like, oh, that's great. I'm like, I didn't even know that they offered that. Like, and this was a few years ago. So this, because I don't work there anymore. But, yeah, I was happy that
the only men that get it are like, all right, so like, in my experience, we had a person that I hired, you know, when we, at my job, you know what I mean, corporate type of shit, right? So I hired somebody, and when we hired them, he let me know in the hiring process that he would have to take some time off because his wife was having her first child. Mm-hmm. So the authority at that job, they get to make the decision of whether or not they're going to grant you, you know, that privilege, you know what I mean, to be able to do it, because they don't have to. But if you're a female, if you're a mother carrying, they have to by law. We can't even tell them that they can't work at the job. If you're pregnant, we can't even say, oh, you can't work here because you're pregnant. You're not going to be able to keep up with the pace. We still have to allow them the same opportunity to apply as everyone else. And
DEI.
Right. Well, it wasn't even just that. It was just because like it's discrimination, period. Like, why are we not hiring? We can't just say we're not hiring her because she's pregnant. There's nothing that says that you can't work there if you're pregnant. But there's nothing that says that you can't work there if you're pregnant. So we can't just say you can't work here because you're pregnant. If you're able to do the job like everybody else, you get an opportunity to do it. Just straight up. There is no DEI or anything like that. It's just a fair shake for people that qualify. But in terms of guys getting, you know, time off for their wife, that wasn't something that was widely practiced they get that time off now, like if they're married or something like that, there has to be a different
It
circumstance.
was a baby.
And that has to go through HR most of the time. But yes, nowadays 2025, that's something guys can get maternity leave if they have a new child. What did Hector say? I'm reading comments. Like a lot of people don't do that shit. They'll wait for like a super chat or some shit like that. I don't give a fuck. I'm just gonna read this shit.
Hi, thank you everybody for tuning in. And Joshua, I hear what you're saying. And what's wrong? What do you suggest that we discuss then? Since you're giving your input.
What was he talking about? About the
He said, how's the economy? Yeah, y'all heard about the Golden Dome?
What's that?
Trump is thinking about putting a Golden Dome over the United States.
And what is that going to do?
I don't know.
What is the purpose of it?
Defense for like missiles and stuff like that.
If he feels that it's necessary, are they going to start?
a
I don't
golden
even
dome.
think they're.
Golden Dome.
Everything is digital now, so they don't even need to shoot no missiles or do nothing like that. They can just shut off the power source, the power grid,
But a
and
Golden
then
Dome
let
is
us
like some
take our own
censorship.
selves out because people gonna go crazy, gonna buy up all the stuff in the stores, then
Did-
everything's gonna get shut down, and that's.
I think.
I hate to ask this. Did he say this?
I mean, we could chat GPT.
Yeah, cause where did you get? That's what I'm saying.
I don't want to be telling people that.
Cause
yo,
Chris, you
Trump,
be doing
yo, you
these
be doing that with the
conspiracy
TikTok shit.
theories.
Like yo, like
Look it up. Just look it up.
I can't on this phone. You gotta look it up.
Look it up. Oh, see, Hector said it's to protect from nukes. So
Look it
Hector
up.
Hector
Look it
knows what's going on.
Look it up,
All
bro.
right,
Look it up.
I'm gonna look it up, but I'm just saying.
Shout out to Hector.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, if
it's
it's
more
gonna
than just
protect
me.
us.
It's more than just me just
I
saying
feel like
this
we're
shit.
looking.
But I want
way.
CNN to be saying.
I
that.
think
I want
we need to
I
have
want ABC to be
beef
saying.
up
that. I
our
want Fox to be saying.
cyber
that.
security because that's what they.
I mean, for it to be golden, I promise you, it has something to do with our cybersecurity.
We got enough gold. Like what the fuck? Like
Exactly.
it's so many questions.
That's why
bro.
he's trying to take funding
So
away
many
from
questions.
everything.
Yeah.
He tried to shut down the Department of Education, but they blocked that.
He said it's to protect from nukes. I got you. That makes sense. You know what I mean? But it's just the stuff we put our effort into. Like if the country, like when they talk about ending world hunger, CBS News. Okay, what's the Golden Dome? Okay. Click on CBS.
Which one? This one?
Yeah.
So-
Okay, President Trump missile defense project called Golden Dome for America aims to protect U.S. from foreign threats, but is a steep price and has been criticized by China, threatening to increase the risk of militarizing space and global arms race. Jeez.
So it's about to get real.
Wow, that's CBS News. So
It's about
if
to
you
get
didn't
real.
know, now you know. Good look, OD.
I'm just saying.
Yo, like, so it's crazy stuff going on. Like, you know what I mean? People, and then you got the last Mission Impossible. Like, I just talked about that the other day, but it's crazy we talk about the missiles and shit and the AI shit, and now we got all these suggestive
movies. For
movies
years,
and
they've been putting these movies and TV shows out telling us stuff. How can we get our community back together, Joshua? I
Survival
think first
tactics.
we need to be on the same page because I think we're separate. Our thought process, we can't even agree on what we need to do. So if we can't agree on what we, as enough
Collective.
people can't, collectively we can't agree on one thing.
We
To be
gotta-
able to say
we
this
gotta
book,
start
we
by-
need to identify that
Well,
first. And then
the first step to solving any problem is identifying what the problem is initially. So we have areas that we need to work on, but we have to go on the easiest thing that we can fix first. The easiest thing that we can fix first is by now individuals that are in households that have some type of authority. If you understand what the problem is, then you know how to fix it. So if you know that maybe kids need better education and kids need their parents pouring into them more, then you could possibly be a parent that could start doing it. It'll start with you. And then when that kid grows up, that kid will probably be seeking a woman that has the same values that you had, and then they'll continue that legacy. You know what I mean? You start with the small things that you can fix. Rebuilding our families is the easiest way, to fix our communities. You can't fix our communities.
But that's hard though, because
it's not hard.
Let me tell you
It's
why.
not hard.
It's hard in the sense of if you'll say, oh, the dating climate has piss in it, right? If we'll say, oh, okay, it's hard to find somebody that's suitable, you know what I'm saying, to be with.
Exactly. Josh.
What we're saying essentially,
we don't support
hold
each other.
on.
We don't
What we're
support each
saying
other.
essentially is it's not that easy.
But the people who need support, they gotta be willing to accept it. Some people are stubborn.
Yeah, that's accountability.
They don't
that's,
listen.
Yeah,
you can't
submission.
be combative
That's
and argumentative, and there's a lot of issues or reason why people
and that's why it's not
along.
easy.
So you have to be able
And
to
that's
get
why it's
along
not
to
easy.
be able to.
Are you
work
afraid
together.
This is why
to
it's not
correct
easy.
bad behavior from a kid that's not yours?
No.
Yeah,
I'm not
I'm
afraid,
saying
but I know that some women are ready for that, and they'll literally,
Facts.
they'll
Josh
literally
was
change the
saying Malcolm
relationship.
X back because
Yeah, for
too
sure.
many niggas afraid.
For sure.
I think we need somebody with some backbone to be a leader. We need guidance, and I could sit here and tell you and tell you
do that. Or whatever.
all
Sometimes you
this-
get mad, but I don't care if you get mad. Tell your kid to stop crawling on the
Listen.
floor. That floor is dirty. Like, get up.
we can sit here and tell people how to do things all day. Like the honest truth is I have to live through myself, and I'll show you the examples of how it works because I'll put forth the effort to try to do it myself. But if we understand that this is something that needs to be done, and I'm getting to it, I'm doing it, I'm trying to do it, you gotta follow suit. You gotta do the same thing. So a lot of times we hear brothers saying the negative self-talk. Well, you know, I can't find nobody like that, man. I gotta do all this. You know, why can't they just? You gotta think bigger than yourself, brother. That's the problem. Like a lot of times we don't think bigger than ourselves. We always think we're so small we can't make any impact, so we don't even start. If you would take all the energy that it takes to negate any resolution, then put that energy into you actually being productive towards whatever goal you think is necessary for you to complete which is building your family, securing your family. If you can do that, you'll be good. And I would say self-improvement is the best thing. So areas that you need to work on, like, okay, you don't have as well finances, you might need to get another job. It won't be a long-term thing, it'll be a temporary thing just to increase your income for the year to maybe 20% more than what you're getting.
So I got some pushback to what you said.
Wait,
Because
let me.
hold on. I got
She responded to a commenter.
Go ahead.
Joshua said that black men are not respected anymore, and our black families divided. And I do think that black men do need to be, or men as a whole, but we're talking about culturally. So, a lot of women, I see women disrespect their boyfriends or their husbands and talk to them crazy, like, and it's like, and some men put up with that, and they stay in those relationships with the women for years, or but I don't think that they don't deserve that. Like, everyone deserves a basic level of respect, and if that's your husband or your man, like, I don't understand how you could talk to people, like, even if you get mad, it's still a certain level for your loved ones. Like, I think women need to learn how to control their emotions in certain instances. Or you just should know there's certain things that you should never say to people that you love and care about. Not even a man to a woman. It could be to your children or whatever. That's a problem too. That's why a lot of these men are broken, because they grew up in a single parent household where their mom talked to them like they was just a dude on the street, like, and made them feel like they were nothing. Oh, you're gonna be like this. You're gonna be just like da 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 da. You ain't gonna be shit. Or then you calling the daughter a bitch and saying all of this matters. Like, it starts. That's why kids grow up and go down a path a lot of times of degeneracy, because it starts like they don't feel loved, and then they start making bad decisions based off of that, because it's important. But yeah, women need to respect men. Definitely.
So let me say something, right? The pushback that I had was basically, you said that sometimes, I said that it wasn't easy, as in like the dating scene and for black families to get together. That's what I meant specifically. Like black families specifically, it's hard for in my opinion, it's hard for black families to be together because there's no reference points. Like we'll see more single parent homes than, you know what I mean, homes with the father, the mother, and the kids and the dynamic. You see what I'm saying? And I feel like that alone kind of tells you that it's hard for black people to come together for whatever the reasons. It could be brainwashed. They could be brainwashed into believing that, you know what I mean, it's better to be apart. It could be government grants and stuff that's basically saying, hey, we'll give you this house for your home and we'll give you this food, but no man can live in this house with you. You see what I'm saying? It could be whatever. But all I'm saying is, the reason why I said I gotta give it some pushback is it's not like your personal narrative is, oh, I want to get married, have kids, settle down, spread my seed. So it's even hard for you, cause like just you alone, like your mentality since I've been fucking with you at least has never been, okay, yo, I'm ready to have some kids. So you know there is hurdles that you want to accomplish first before you decide, okay, I'm going to produce a family. And with the knowledge that you have, we already know that the trajectory of your family is going to be okay because you have the mental capacity to. The problem is the people that's having the kids aren't ready for the kids. You see what I'm saying? And this is what we got to stop at the source. Like we gotta like, yo, if you're not ready to have kids, that's why people like father figures and mentors and people like that need to be in these kids' lives. So when they're about to make these choices, they have somebody that they could go to, because it might not be their parent. You see what I'm saying? The parent might be like, yo, I'm not having that. If you have a kid, you're out my house. And then they got to figure it out by themselves. And it's Brenda got a baby 2025. You see what I'm saying? So
I agree. I think we do only get together either for something bad, or like you said, to eat, smoke, or drink. And you said how many people would come
Or funerals.
to your house? Yeah, funeral. How many people would come to your house if you didn't have anything to offer them?
exactly.
And I think it's a reason why people don't do that. I feel like a lot of families are not as close in the black community, are not as close. They may have grown up in the same house together, but they're not that close because they have like, they may have like trauma bonds or whatever, but when they got older and got out and separated themselves, then they realized some of the behaviors that they learned and were taught were not appropriate. So they unlearned those behaviors, and now that they separate themselves and they got a different mindset, it's hard to be around that. If you still exposed to that, it's hard to be around those people that exhibit that. So you only come around out of obligation because it's like, this is family, this is whoever, whatever. And if it's your friend, your friend shouldn't care about if you're trying to give them something or not. If that's really your friend, y'all should be able to, there shouldn't be no profit or nothing coming to you or having to feed you or something to come to your house if that's really your friend. Some people have friends that they're closer with than their family. So if that's the case, then you don't need to give them nothing. They're gonna be there regardless because they're friends with you for you, not what you providing for them. And that's how it should be. But a lot of people are, and I think a lot of people are clingy too. Also, like they can't. I think it's important. Yeah, we should learn how to be closer together, but closer when it's comfortable, not to a point that it's overwhelming. And now you looking for an escape route. Like you gotta make up an excuse to leave or something because you feel like it's okay. You had enough time for today. Now I need to go decompress or whatever. If if you shouldn't feel like that when you around your loved ones, but sometimes it can be depending on different factors. So we gotta fix that in those instances. If like those, and that's what we talked about coming together. Like if your mindset is still, if I'm up here
How do you
and
fix?
you're down there with your way of thinking, how we gonna come to the same level
Yeah,
and be
like
able
how-
to elevate physically?
Let me ask you a specific question, E. How do you fix somebody you just genuinely don't vibe with, but they're your direct fan? They could be mother, father, sister,
You
brother.
can't face it. You just deal with them
Ex-
when you
ex-
feel like you're
exactly.
out of obligation, or you
Exactly.
feel like, okay, is this holiday or is this or that, or
Exactly.
I'ma just call them just cause I ain't talked to them in a while because you feel like you have to.
Exactly. And
But
I
it's
think
different when people be like, oh, my mother is my best friend, or this and that, or whatever.
yeah, some
like
people
some
lie
people
and force
say-
energies, but I'm talking about like as soon as you have the chance, you're normally gonna break away and like distance. Is distance fixing it or is just distance?
I mean, it
Distances-
depends. If you try, if you
when you like ostracize yourself, you put yourself away from everybody else, make yourself a pariah or something like that. That's only putting a band-aid on it.
Mm.
At some point, you guys have to come through and come together, and sometimes it's under awkward circumstances. Now, like we said, the funeral thing, you might have to come together to the funeral, and you don't know how the family's gonna receive you, because now at that moment when they're very vulnerable, some people might lash out. Oh, this is the only time we could see you? Now you haven't been here the whole time. We told you that mama was sick or something, and you never showed up. And now you decide that you want to be here. Make you feel bad for even coming to the funeral to pay your respects to your family. So a lot of times it's hard for people to connect. And this is what we're saying. A lot of times, yeah, we might have differences of views. A lot of times there's nothing wrong with having different perspectives. Sometimes we have to agree to disagree, but a leader can find out of the two which makes the most sense, and we can go with that. We can try it, and sometimes the leader can be wrong, but we have to respect the leader enough to allow them to make mistakes, as long as they don't keep on making mistakes and it doesn't become a trend.
Mm-hmm.
And we nip it in the bud. Okay, you made the mistake, don't let this happen again. Now they move forward and they're able to be the strongest leader. They're able to be like a Malcolm X or something like that. That's what we need. But you know, like I said before, people are afraid to be a martyr. Nobody wants to get taken out. Everybody wants to live their life.
And there's
So
no
a lot of
structure,
people are
bro.
going to always choose self-preservation over selflessness.
And there's no structure because it's no father, mother, child. It's supposed to be God, father, mother, and children. But it's not that dynamic no more. Like there's a lot of women that feel like they're in control of their relationship. There's a lot of kids that run their parents. You see what I'm saying? And it's
I was
like,
just watching some shit earlier.
that's what I'm saying. Like
shit is troubling. Like this little Caucasian boy smacked his father. Smacked his mother. Told her to shut up.
crazy.
Saying, "How do you like that? You know,
Crazy.
you don't like when you know. Let me get a chance to talk. Let me finish what I was saying."
The little boy said
The
that?
little boy said that to the mom, smacked her in the face.
So,
You know what I mean?
so she used to do that to him. Is
Right.
What you saying?
Right.
Mm.
But she's saying she don't do that. She never did that. You know, not saying that it's right, but we've gotten to a point where it's like, okay, these children can still act out because we want them to have a voice. We want them to have a voice.
His dad wasn't there, huh?
I'm sure his dad wasn't there. We want these kids to have a voice and be able to speak out on things that they don't agree with and stuff like that. But what if they speak out on things that they don't agree with, and this is the end result? They're smacking them out. At some point, the child is going to be old enough.
Appropriate way.
Right? It's going to get worse. It's not going to get better. Then you got the mother, her last, resort is calling the police on her child, putting him in the system, just giving up.
Yeah. You know how many women gave up their kids last year?
I can
Yeah, it's
It's
crazy.
crazy.
That's because like
And they have a box
we
outside
have
of a
to,
building, a government building, that you can drop your kid off. You could put them in the box if you don't want them to
That's
work. If someone and ring the bell, and somebody will come out and get them.
It's crazy as fuck.
And I agree, we do need to stop making money, everything. I don't think that money, because money comes and goes. Like, yeah, you need it to survive. You needed to keep a roof over your head and things like that. And that's on a basic level. Like, I don't think when it comes to relationships, like, I don't agree with the narrative that some women have, like, oh, you gotta make 6 figures or more and all of this. Cause I think Josh in the comments said about money. Like, I don't agree with that. I don't subscribe to that narrative. I think as long as you're making enough to be able to take care of yourself and provide the things that you need for yourself. And if I am with you and we go through tough times, then I'm not just gonna, like, if you lose your job, you get laid off or something, I'm not just gonna leave you if we're together. But I don't think no one should be dating if you don't have a job at all, because
so
why are you
can I
should be
interject?
focusing on bettering yourself? But at
Because
least
Josh just said a good point, and I wanna address that. So like, if you feel like you're at a point in life where you're afraid to date a woman, and this is just like, to me, I feel like this is common sense. I know I got a purple Scully on whatever. But to me, this is really just common sense. Like, I want X woman. I want this type of woman. What does it take to get X type of woman? You gotta understand what that is. If you want a woman that's plain Jane, goes to Barnes and Nobles, just chill, she not all out there like that, you're gonna find a modest woman in those locations. You're not gonna find a modest woman in the club most of the time. So like, if you want a woman that you could possibly trust, you have to meet her in a setting where you can build and get to know her, not in a situation where it can be a quick one night stand. You need a situation where you can build with her, and you have to have patience and discipline to be able to do that. Once you learn as much as you need to know about this person, you can decide whether or not you want to stick around for a little bit longer, or you want to, just end with what you started with this person. You know what I mean? So I think it's not, you don't have to be afraid to put yourself out there, but you just have to have boundaries set up so that things don't get too far out. It's kind of like the stock market. Like, you want to minimize your risk because it's always going to be risk. You just want to make it so that you win more than you lose. And in that situation, you might, one of your wins might actually be a woman that you're interested in building with and trying to build a relationship with. But I feel like the reason that the black community or black family is failing and stuff like that is mainly because we don't realize our duty, and sometimes we lose sight of that and we lose focus. We don't try to, I understand that she has this issue or this issue and deal with it. You chose that woman. Move on. If you don't want to deal, don't hang around. Move on and find something else if you want something that you don't gotta work on. It's something out there. You just gotta keep looking. But a lot of times, most of the time, you're gonna probably have to tolerate some stuff. You're gonna have to work on some stuff.
People, you said people put money over morals and values. I agree, and I think it needs to
We
stop.
just talked about that yesterday.
I think it needs to stop because, like, at what point, people are willing to sell their soul, like, or they don't have one sometimes because they don't have any standard. Their standard is at the bottom. Like, character does matter. I agree. Like, there's a number of factors that go into selecting a partner, and the only reason why I say money to a certain degree, like, you need to at least have an income. It doesn't have to be, you don't need to be rich. You don't need to even be making 6 figures, or you can be making 30 to 40,000 if y'all are both working. Because if you're thinking about a future and you want to have children, you're gonna need to be able to provide for yourself and the children. So both people can be working. It doesn't have to be a stay-at-home mom unless if that's something that they agree upon. Everyone has different, but it does matter to a certain degree. But character matters as well. Is the man gonna treat you right? Is the woman gonna respect you? Is she submissive? Is she gonna follow your leadership? Is he going to, you know, be is whatever a woman wants in a man, like character wise, like that should matter. Is he gonna protect you? Is she gonna be selfless? Because both of you, because if you have kids, it's no longer about you anymore. Now you're responsible for these other humans. So now that's you gotta put your needs and your wants to the side sometime or whatever. But I definitely do think people put money over their morals and stuff, and I don't agree with that. Like if you're doing X work, or you have an OF account, or like you're a stripper or something, like if people get money to take care of themselves or whatever, but me, I would never do anything like that. Like, well, I'm out of shape now, but even if I was, I still wouldn't do that or whatever. And I've gone through tough times before, but I still would never sleep with someone for money or do like the crazy things that people. So to me, I have a limit, but a lot of people don't, and it is a shame.
Yeah. How do you find a submissive woman in 2025?
When you say submissive, females throw on the stink face.
I check this. You said, how do you find a back up? It's close to my I'm about to claw my shit. I don't know. But yeah, how do you find a submissive woman in 2025? First of all, your age bracket can't be that old because you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Second of all,
What's the age?
it can't be too old. I didn't even put a range because
what's the age range? The ladies want to know. Any ladies in the chat?
We'll say from, because you have to be fertile, but you have to be at least of age to know, like, experience life and shit. Like, you can't just be fresh off of your teen years and like that's too young.
So what's the age range?
So I would say from
25, 22?
25 to 33.
And how old are you?
I'm 37.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I like older.
Shout out to the older niggas. You know
Not
what I'm saying?
that.
Can a 40-year-old woman become submissive?
Become submissive? Yeah, but you're not gonna want her.
I
Let me tell you why though. Hold on. Let me tell you why.
Let me just say, I think that all women are innately submissive. But
Yeah.
I
Why
think
would you
that
want a submissive woman,
we're taught to we're conditioned to
Mhm.
control it, or we're in situations where we have to play the masculine role because we have to. If you're not in a relationship, if you're not married, you have to protect yourself. If you live alone, so you have to, or in some people's jobs, they may have to take on that role. So then it's hard to switch it off when you do get into a relationship and it's time to be softer and let him take the lead. And you might have thoughts because you're smart and you want to do your own thing, and he tells you, oh, I don't want you to go on a girl trip. And you're like, why can't I go? Like, I want to go out with my friends. And it's like, because he said you can't go. Why do you need to go on a girl's trip? Like, you could see your friends when they in town. You'll be all right if you don't go on the girl's trip. Like, what's more important to you? I mean, those are your friends, but you're going to ruin your relationship because, I mean, I feel like that's something that should have been discussed in the beginning, but, for example. But I don't know. I forgot what I was saying.
Let's talk about women submitting naturally.
Yeah, but I think innately we all have it. It's just about you. Some women have learned, or they end up masking it because of their career, or because they haven't been in a relationship for so long, or they haven't met a man some men don't know how to lead, or there's some men are good leaders, but they could lead you down the wrong path depending on their character. There's that word again. Like if they're a criminal or someone like they're a scammer or whatever, they might be a good leader, but then they could lead you to jail. So it's like you also have to have discernment as a woman to decide what man you should be following,
100%.
submitting to.
100%.
Females will listen to
Why
their
have a
friends
submissive?
before they listen to their man.
Why have a submissive woman? Because you want somebody that trusts you. You don't want somebody that doesn't trust you. And that's just in general. Like, you want somebody that you know, like, okay, if I leave and I go to the store, you believe that I left and I went to the store. You see what I'm saying? And that's important, because if that person don't believe you, then best believe they're gonna do things to get back at you at some point. So it's just a vicious cycle.
A good leader, Joshua, is someone that is concise, like they know they're confident, they when they're protected, they have control over their emotions, like they're not like a crash out, they're not gonna go get, they have forethought, and it's the direction that I would say to find that, you would look at the direction that they're going in their life. Like if their decisions that they made so far have led them down a certain path, and that's the type of man that you're looking for, then that would probably be the man that you would follow his leadership. It's hard to say every exact feature that would qualify him as a leader, because a lot of people are good leaders, but they just so the trajectory that the path that his life is going on, if that's what the woman sees suited for herself, and the man made the right decision to get himself there, then that woman should trust him. But that depends on what she's looking for. I don't want no guy that's gonna go to jail, or no guy that's doing no criminal, like scamming and things like that. So if you're doing that, maybe if you got in trouble in the past, if you clean yourself up, I wouldn't count that out depending on why you got in trouble. But if you got your life together, like I wouldn't. But you don't have to have that either. But I'm just saying,
can I ask
if
you a
you
question?
change yourself, I'm not just gonna say, oh, whatever. But I would prefer if you didn't. But I hope you get your, what's the name? What do you call that? Get it off your record, like. Get your documents, write you a letter, so like if it's been over the time, and like I said, if it wasn't that crazy, you could get that. Like if I feel like everybody deserves a chance or whatever, like if they have or whatever, but like no, if you're doing that, still get in trouble. But also I would prefer if you didn't do that.
Can I ask you a question before I forget? Who do you think has better selection skills, men or women, in selecting a forever partner? Who do you think has better skills, men or women?
Skills and what?
In selecting a partner that you're gonna stay with forever, who do you think has a better understanding of that, men or women?
I think we both make bad decisions.
So you think it's even?
I don't know the exact percentage, but I'll say like women will pick a man that's emotionally unavailable, that doesn't want to. He might view her just because she was there or whatever, or she'll, waste her life or whatever and not even be nothing, and then he go marry somebody else or some shit or whatever, and she just wasted her life and didn't get with nobody else because she was. Or a man can be with a chick, like I said before, where she's cursing him out and talking him crazy, belittling him, emasculating him, constantly disrespecting him in public, like his friends clowning him because they be like, yo, don't make me go on my purse. No, I'm just kidding. Inside joke. So, yeah.
What? Monkeys. Oh! Anyway.
But yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, like, I don't know. We both make bad decisions equally when it comes. I don't know.
So the reason
know
why I
what-
asked you that question is because I believe a little bit different. I believe men make better decisions in the selection process, and the reason why I say that,
Men mainly look at what you look like. That's
and the reason why I say that
the
is
focal point.
if we go
And then
out,
they'll tolerate
hold
a
on,
lot of stuff.
let me explain my reasoning, right? So the reason why I say that is if we go outside of America and we look at the culture of marriage, it's usually from the father. It's not from the mother. It's the father is picking the spouse. He's doing it specifically, and I believe that there's a science behind that, whether uh whether or not we try to, dispute the facts. Like, the facts of the matter is, if that method works outside of America and their divorce rate is way different from our divorce rate, you see what I'm saying? Then one has to work better than the other. It can't be 50-50. You see what I'm saying? But the problem is, once we think it's 50-50, like E does, or like a lot of people might, then we say that there is no truth in men making the better decisions. So then now we're taking the accountability and men do make better
I
decisions,
did say that, but
and
I
that
said
there's
I
a
don't
reason
know
why men
what-
make better
what the
decisions,
difference is.
and that there's a reason why people are gonna think it's 50-50 too. You see what I'm saying? Because we're here. If we weren't here, then we would answer it different over there because our understanding would be different. But because we're here, we think that we're equals in a lot of, in a lot of things, and it's like
Men pick women that 18 years,
You talk about the
and
men
on the
here.
18th birthday found out it wasn't his.
yeah, you were
That's-
talking about.
How many men?
We're
go
talking
through
about
that?
the selection.
And in some states, even if they find out it's not
Mhm.
their kid, they still gotta fight to not pay child support because you already signed the birth certificate.
Right. And the reason why I brought out outside of the states is because outside of the state, it's your father that does that. If we're talking about inside of the state, I can't say that it's your father because we're just talking about how many single
Well, why
parent
are we talking
households.
about outside
We're
the
just
country
saying
and we
because
all were born, we live in the US.
because certain rules outside of the country would work good inside of the country if we understood why they had it outside of the country. And we're not going to learn it inside of the country because inside the country they're not going to teach us that, right? So we have to go outside of the box to learn something new and bring it inside the box so we could, you know what I mean, have that all be on the same page and have that mentality. The problem is if everybody is on a different page, or if everybody thinks that everybody is equal, then we'll never have that realization that all we got to do is look outside the box to figure out what works inside the box.
Yeah, everyone is definitely not equal because men and women are not
It's not.
the same.
It's a chain
But
of command.
I said I don't.
But that's
know
why
what
selection
the amount
is part of that.
I said we both.
Because that's
It is a
you're right,
factual
Hector.
statement.
What
We
Hector
both
said.
make bad decisions, men
It's
and
not- it's not
women,
about money.
when it comes to picking
No,
a
it's
partner. There's examples
It's
to
about
back up
leadership.
both of them. I don't know what the difference is, who's higher or who's doing better when it comes to selecting partner, men or women. I don't know the
I'm
answer,
just
but I
saying-
know we both choose wrong.
I understand that, but I'm just saying that there's a reason why men are are in charge of arranging the marriage and selecting the spouse, and there's a reason why their numbers in marriage staying together and our marriage numbers in staying together are vastly different. And that's what I'm saying. Like like if there was a civilization of
Because
women,
you
hold
stay
on.
together,
If there was a
that's not
hold
all
on,
that
if there was a
matters.
civilization,
Yeah, you stay
hold
together,
on.
because
If there was
that's-
if there was a civilization of women that did that, then I would have to give them their credit. But because there is not one that's known to me, at least, I can only go off of what I know to be true, and to know that arranged marriage is set up from the fathers has to give weight to the decision making in your partner. To me, And you know, and like if we're in America and we see that it doesn't work because the father is not there, then that kind of doubles down on the fact that decision making has been taken out and now it's equal minded, and that's probably why it's not successful. You see what I'm saying? Because it's not equal. Like you said, some men have a responsibility to do certain things, and certain women have a responsibility to do certain things. But the problem is nobody's taught that. So that's the confusion. Like everybody doesn't want to be told what to do, but they don't know what to do. You see what I'm saying? It's like, but I see what you're saying. Like a lot of people do think like it's equal. I just disagree because of the facts of how
Who
arranged
said it was
marriages.
equal?
I'm just saying. You said that you
didn't.
felt like it was pretty much equal with men and
I
women.
said we both make bad decisions.
So isn't that
when it
equal?
comes. Let me finish, because you
Okay.
obviously stopped listening after I said that.
Okay.
We both make bad decisions when it comes to selecting a romantic partner.
Mhm.
What the gap is, I don't know. Who's making better? Who has a higher percentage when it comes to? I don't know. That's what I said. So
But
I
that's
didn't say
both,
they were
though.
equal. I'm
That
saying
that
that they
equates to
both
both.
do it.
If
You
you're
asked
saying
how
both,
much.
if you're saying
I
both
don't
do
know
it,
how
and you're
much.
saying there's no difference between
I
the
didn't
two,
say
that is
that.
50-50.
Are you listening?
You
Did hear
said
me
they
say
both
no?
do it, but you said you don't know the gap. You don't know
So
the
you put it
disparity.
to 50-50. I never said an amount. I said I don't know.
So if you,
I don't know who does it higher.
I
I never
understand
said
that.
it was equal.
I
You're
understand
saying
that. But what did you say they both do? What do they both do?
But you're saying how
Well, no,
much?
what did you say
'Cause
they both do?
You said who does it
What
more.
did you say
I
they
don't
both
know
do?
who does it more.
Okay, so what did you say they both do?
Because you asked me who does it more. You're asking for
That's
a
not the
certain
answer
amount.
to the question.
I don't know the amount.
That's
That
the
is the
amount.
question.
You're saying the amount.
You said who's
saying
more successful
no,
when it comes to selecting partners.
I said, who are you describing when you say both? That's what you said out your mouth. You said both.
You said who's more successful.
If we're talking about men and women, listen.
Successful.
If we're talking about men and women, and you say both, and then you have no disparity between the two, that's equal. You don't have to say it's equal. That is equal, because you're saying that both, you recognize men and women both make bad decisions. No, you said listen. You said both. You said both men and women both make bad decisions in terms of, because the question I asked you was, do you feel like who makes better decision in the selection of a partner?
I said I don't know.
Exactly. But the first thing, before you said you don't know, you said, well,
but we
both,
already acknowledged that they both did it when you asked the question in the first place.
So when you're acknowledging both of them, listen, when you're acknowledging both of them, and you're saying that there is no difference, you don't know the difference between the two, that is 50-50.
No, you're making it 50-50.
No, it's not 50-50. Okay.
If I said
so
it seems like it's the same,
if you could say you're sure that it's that both of us.
I didn't say that.
You did say it. You said both men and women.
Examples to show that
exactly
men have made
both
bad decisions
exactly.
And women have. How many? I don't know. For me to be able to say which one is higher, but I didn't say that.
If you have no information,
telling you that's not.
If you have no information on why there's a difference, then you're saying that both of them make bad decisions.
A broke woman is looked at as a victim in society.
Right. But all I'm saying is,
I don't think
if there's no difference, then it's the same.
By broke, do you mean no income at all, or do you mean under a certain income level? Because I think, because somebody said that in the comment, I think people take broke when they use broke, they use it very loosely. That's like, if you're not a millionaire, then you're broke, or if you're not making 3 figures, I mean, if you're not making over 7-8 figures or something, like, if you're not making that amount, then people are like, you're broke. So what do you classify as being broke? No income at all, that would be broke to me. But if you're able to sustain your lifestyle, if you're going to work and you're able to, you have a roof over your head, and you're able to feed yourself and take care of your children if you have any, then that's not broke. And you should have some type of savings or money for emergencies or things like that. And doing the responsible adult thing, have a HSA account or have medical insurance if you need to be going to the doctor, like getting yourself checked out at least once a year or every 6 months if you're to get like things like that. You need to be responsible. Like I don't. And as long as you're making enough to be able to do that, then that's not broke to me. The things that people want to do, you don't need to. It's nice to go on vacation and everything and do that, but even that, with a regular 9 to 5, you can go on vacation at least once a year if you save up your money and and still live decent. Where it is. But people want to be rich. People want to be on a yacht, and there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want to do. But realize for that type of lifestyle, there's only a small percent of people that fall into that category, and it takes a lot of work to get to that point. Most of us are average, and some people are never gonna be more than that. But
average and trying to date up everybody. But like the reason that the reason that a broke man has such a hard time is because men try to encourage other men to be stronger. And sometimes it's hard because if a dude was raised by, their mom or raised by a single parent or something like that, a lot of times they're going to be a little bit more emotional. So it's going to be hard to like kind of reach them to a point of like overall masculinity.
Joshua, 12 inches is ridiculous. Like I don't know who you're gonna be, who person that is gonna be tearing up somebody's box, but it wouldn't be mine. Cause I don't, and like I said, that 6 figures, don't say you, say you mean women, cause I don't agree with, I don't care how tall you are, as long as you're not like a little person, like literally, like, I don't know if we can say a midget.
You can't say that. You gotta say a dwarf for a little person.
After. But yeah, as long as you're not that, like, you don't even have to be taller than me. I've dated people that were shorter than me before, but they were a normal sized person. Like, and if I'm attracted to you, like, and you have the other characteristics, like you're a good leader, you're smart, you make me feel safe. Like I feel like you would protect me, like give me a sense of security, and you need to have an income. Like you can't just be, because where did we meet at? We were out somewhere that you had to pay money to go there, or you're spending money, but you don't got a job. How we going, or I don't know, you don't have to take me on a date that costs money, but if we out somewhere, like I met you somewhere, like I don't know. But usually it costs to go places, and so what are you doing here? And you asking for my number.
Do you think it really matters if you met a dude and he literally just like it didn't matter where he took you, you could have just been chilling outside in your crib or wherever, and like he's just mentally stimulating you?
It's just because
that's what I'm saying. I'm not, like, I've gone on dates where we actually went to restaurants and stuff, or sometimes I just go for a ride, like, and just talk or whatever, just ride around and talk, and, or, like, I don't need, like, it's about the person. It's not the experience that you're giving me, like, because if I really love you or whatever, like, I'll go wherever. It's not about, like I said, not to prison. We're not doing like, no, but I do like to go for a ride. I feel like if going for a ride anyway, like it's good to clear your head or whatever.
So how about like if you were dating and you just met this dude and he was like, and you were like, okay, where you want to take me? And he was like, oh, let's go to the train track and take a walk.
If I just met you, I gotta get to know you first before I'm walking down a train track or something.
All right, let's
crazy.
say,
like it's
let's say a trail. Let's say
we need to meet in public until I feel like I could trust you. You're not gonna
East
chop
Rock.
my head off.
East Rock.
I've gone to East Rock.
Yeah, he want to take you on a date to East Rock. Just go walking.
That's kind of dangerous. Like, how long have I known this person?
You just
He
met him.
might push me. Oh, you hear all this crazy stuff?
I mean, you don't have to go on the cliff. You could just go on the trail.
And we're walking.
Yeah.
And what time
People
of day
walking.
is it?
That's what I'm saying. It could be morning. You go like, oh, let's go in the morning time because I like to be.
I gotta have the blick on me.
I mean, you can have a blick on you. You're supposed to have a blick on you anyway. You know what I'm saying?
I
You're
guess
supposed to anyway.
I gotta know him a little bit for that though, because that's not on first date. I think that's kind of
David Buster's.
for a woman.
So David Buster's is cool, but not.
David Buster's. I love David Buster's.
Not a walk to East.
We can go. We can go for a walk. I didn't say we can't, but
not to East.
Not no secluded area.
Oh, okay.
We could go
so
to a
beach,
park, go
like,
for coffee, have a picnic, and in a wide.
Would you tell him? Would you tell him like I don't feel comfortable going to East Rock, but we could go to the picnic or we could go.
I don't know you that well. I would feel more comfortable if we were in a more open area where there's a lot of people.
I got into an argument with a woman on Clubhouse because we were talking about coffee dates.
You still on Clubhouse?
Like, no, this was.
Oh, I'm about to say.
You know what?
Joshua,
honestly, I was thinking about getting back on Clubhouse. I haven't been up there in a while. Like Clubhouse, it's got a lot of good resources, but they was having a conversation about where you would take a woman out on the first date. So you know how Clubhouse. I don't know if you guys were, it's the iPhone world. So if you got the iPhones and you got invited on the Clubhouse, it's kind of a crazy experience. Like Twitter Spaces is kind of now. But like, people from like all over the world are up there. So you get that same wide variety of cultural experiences or whatever. And everybody's like, you know, you got some woman up there from LA. And she's like, oh, don't take me on no coffee date. You better take me someplace nice. We better go out for a steak. This your first date. Why you going to?
And remember, they had the list of restaurants that women say they not going on. Like, y'all are crazy.
Yo, it was crazy, and the girl was like, so two girls got into an argument about going on a coffee date. She was I will go on a coffee date. What's wrong with that? No, don't ever bring me on a coffee date as our first date. I don't want to go there, and I like coffee, but I deserve something better, and
You're just getting to know each other. So why would you think that a man is supposed to spend top dollar for you?
But a lot
what
of
if he
young
doesn't like
believe
you?
that, right?
Like, so you're just wasting his time. You expect him to drop all this money on you for you to block him or ghost him next week, or it didn't even go well and he spent all this money. That's what that is for you to get. If you really genuinely want to get to know this person, then it shouldn't matter within reason. And if you're feel safe, you know, I think you should be, if you don't know this person, you definitely should go to a public place or something where there are a lot of people and let people know that you're going there just for safety reasons, because crazy stuff do happen. But aside from
bring
that,
a taser or some spray.
You should not, it shouldn't matter where he takes you aside from safety reasons, because if you really want to get to know him.
Yeah, that's facts.
If you have ulterior motives or you're just trying to use him or something like that, then that's why you wouldn't want to. That's the only reason why you trying to get a free meal. That's what the guy on Lapeef, he calls women plate pirates.
Why didn't you tell me this before we named this pod, yo? We should have named this pod Plate Pirates, yo. That is hilarious, yo. He needs to copyright that. I need to make that his song, because that is hilarious. Plate Pirates.
Yeah, he said, because they'll like go on a bunch of dates with men that they have no interest in being with just to get a free meal.
You. Oh, that's crazy, yo. But
yeah, if his money was low. But why? It depends why your money's low. Do you have a gambling problem? Do you have a drug addiction or something? Because, you know, those are things that if I'm getting to know you, then I would want to know. There's a reason why your money's. Are you just not making enough? Then that's one thing. Or are you spending it frivolously on things that you don't need?
What if he said he was depressed? How would you handle that?
But I said I would go to a picnic. I have a picnic.
No.
Don't have to-
You
I'm
went to the
responding to
picnic
no.
and he's talking and he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna keep it all the way real with you. I'm depressed." He's like, he's going
So
through.
what's that to do with?
He's just letting you know that he's just in a depressed state. He's going through a lot. You see what I'm saying? He wanted to go on a date with you because you're helping him see the bright side of life or whatever the reasons is, right? How do you operate as a person that, like, damn, this nigga's telling me he's depressed on the first date?
On the first date.
Mhm.
Well, I don't know. It wasn't on the first date, but I have had some. Not necessarily say he was depressed, but he's like, oh, nobody
care about him.
nobody ever told him like, oh, you're this, you're that, you're a good, uplifted him or said things, and I would do, cause that's just how I am. Like if I don't know, if I'm dealing with you like in that way, like I'm going to like in a romantic, like I like you, so I'm gonna pour into you, I'm gonna uplift you, I'm gonna say on the first date if you're depressed, like I don't know, I feel like if you're depressed, then male or female, you shouldn't be dating. But I'm not gonna be rude to you. I would kindly. There was somebody actually that was trying to. He was interested in me, and we were working together. We were going to get signatures for someone that was running for some political.
He was depressed.
He had issues. Like he attempted to unalive himself most times. His family would put him in the crazy the mental asylum sometimes because he was diabetic also. He had to take insulin, and he's like my age, and so he was depressed, and he hated that. He was like, oh, you women only like, he would always say, he was just negative, and that's what I told him. I'm like, this is probably, because he was trying to talk to me, I'm like, no, I'm not, because you're depressed, and I don't want to be the reason that you be doing this. And then I would say, I can't even be around you, because every time I'm around you, and we was together for work, it wasn't even like that, but you're sitting here talking about negative stuff, like, oh, women only, women do this, and they, what did he say?
You want it?
You want it?
Yeah, drink it.
You want it?
He
said, oh, women only like these guys, they don't want da 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 da, and then, or he would just say, he would always just say negative stuff, and I'm like, this is why he would say women would be rejecting him, or they wouldn't want her, they would want to be with this and I'm like, you gotta stop giving yourself negative
Nancy vibes,
like, or whatever. You gotta be more positive. Like, I know it's hard, I know you going through things or whatever, but could be a turn off to women if you complain all the time. Men don't like when women complain all the time, but some men accept it. But I feel like you gotta figure it out. You gotta talk about it. But just constantly over and over saying this, that's draining, especially if you're a person that cares or whatever. Like, just in general, like you're a person that cares about people on a basic level as a human being. You're going to, you're putting a lot on it, and constantly day after day, that's a lot. And then if something goes wrong, then nobody want to be the reason that you off yourself or something. So I think that if you're dealing with that, you should not be dating. You should have that mastered or figured out, whatever if it's to that degree of depression where you feel like you need to express that to me. Now, if it's like you just lost someone or something, I feel like that will pass because that's normal. But if it's like a constant state, like you really deep in it and you try to unalive yourself, or you're different things, or you can't come out of it, like you gotta handle that.
So how long would you entertain it until you say, nah, enough is enough?
If I would ask for more information. If they said that they were depressed, I would ask them, do you mind telling me why or what's going on? Like, why are you depressed? Like, and then if they tell me it's something where, like I said, that's why I gave an example. Like, if you lost someone or something, that's understandable. You're probably you'll probably never really fully get over it, depending on who it is, but you'll be able to move on with your life, and this is a normal thing. People
So you would work with that
or whatever. But if you're just depressed and you don't know why, and every day you wake up, you want to end it all, or even you just bust out into tears and you don't know what you're crying for, or every time, like I said, all day long you constantly saying negative things and putting yourself down and saying hateful things about yourself. Like,
How long
would you deal with that?
If that's the case, then I wouldn't continue. Why? That's what I'm saying.
So you would
should
cut it
not
off
be
the first date?
Yeah, why? I just said, why would you be dating someone? If you're having those type of issues, you need to focus on yourself. You need to heal yourself or get to a point to where you're okay.
So if that person unalived himself
that you gotta
because
bring
of
up
how
on
the
a first date, it must be severe.
So if that person unalived himself because of the first date going how it went, and he liked you and he felt like you liked him, but then because he opened up and said that he was depressed and he didn't know why, and then you cut it off and then he unalived himself, you wouldn't feel guilty for that?
I didn't say that I would just get up and leave. Like,
you say you would cut it off.
I said I would tell him just what I said.
Exactly. You might not take that the right way.
If you are not able to deal, if you're depressed to the point where you feel like you don't want to be here anymore, or like you're really going through it like that, I don't think this is a good time for you to be dating. You need to work on that and get through that, because if we go through something in this relationship, I don't want it to add to what you're already dealing with, and then that's putting a lot of weight on me, and that's too early in the relationship to expect someone to carry that burden. There are things that you're gonna have to tolerate in a relationship. There's give and take, but something like that is heavy, or something like if one person wants a child and the other person does. There are certain things that I don't think there's no compromise on, like when it comes to a relationship, and when it comes to mental health and stuff like that. Like, I think that's something, and also stability. That's something that you should already have when you're intentionally dating and looking for someone to be in a relationship with, a romantic partner.
So you would feel bad?
we focus on what a person is wearing more than if he is a great leader. Who are you saying in general? Yeah, that is true. But I don't think that. Like, as long as you got on clean clothes, it don't have to be Gucci or whatever. Like, I'm not. But that's how people are, and people are broke, and then they spend all this money on stuff. All right, they spend all this money on things that they can't afford, and to impress people that they don't even like. If somebody said that, but it's true. You know. People are, I don't know, some people are dumb. Like, I don't know how to say it, but
big dummies.
They just do dumb stuff. Like,
that's a fact. That was a nice little impromptu episode. We got some people tuning in. We love y'all. We love the support. We love the consistency.
Definitely appreciate y'all.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in. We're about to head out. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you're notified the next time we post or go live. I'm La Heffa.
I'm Chris O.D. God bless the veterans. Holla.
Smiley Jizzle. We got it.